Welcome back to Golf WRX's Winning What's in the Bag. This week we're taking a look at the 2024 Cognizant Classic, and the winner, Austin Eckroat. He had a big win on Monday. Unfortunately, I know I kind of turned it on Sunday expecting to see the final round, and it was the third round. Monday finish for Austin, and a big win for him. He is a Ping staff player, so he's got all Ping clubs. Now, sometimes a Ping staffer will sometimes throw in a non-brand club somewhere here or there, but he is going full 14 clubs, all Ping. We'll start at the top with the driver, as we always do, and Austin is playing the Ping G430 LST. The LST is going to be the model that is lower launching and lower spinning in the lineup, kind of geared towards the high-speed player who needs spin reduction. But the LST also, along with being a little bit lower spin, having a little bit forward CG, still adds a good amount of stability and forgiveness, which is sometimes a little uncommon with those more player-oriented heads. His is a 10.5 degree, but playing at 8.75. I believe that's the big minus sign on the hosel setting. He does change it up. I remember I looked at his what's in the bag from the end of last year, and he had a slightly different hosel setting as well. So that can change week to week, and maybe depending on swing or course conditions. His head there is shafted up with a Project X smoke green 70-gram 6.5 flex. The smoke green, of course, we've talked about it a few times, called the Hulk. He has the ion-plated one that is the kind of metallic or mirror green color that fades into purple down near the tip, but a 70-gram 6.5, and that's tipped 1 inch. So an extremely stout profile from Project X, probably their stiffest profile out there. Tipped an extra inch, and that tipping will typically tighten up the shaft a little bit. May take just a little bit of launch, maybe a little bit of spin, depending on the player, off. And that club is playing at 45.25 inches long. You move into the 3-wood, and he is playing the G430 Max. That is going to be the 15-degree head. His is playing at 14.75 degrees, so 14.75 degrees. And that is shafted up with a graphite design DI8X. So the DI8 is going to be the 80-gram version. Of course, again, the orange shaft, white handle section with the white rings, extremely popular, kind of a higher launch or mid-high launching shaft with low spin. A lot of people choose it in the fairway woods for a little bit of extra launch, let it come into the green a little softer, and land softer with a little bit less release. This one here is tipped 1.5 inches, which is a little extra. I mean, I think Graphite Design is probably half to 1 inch for 3-woods, but he's 1.5 inches on that. And then you move into the irons, and his irons are a little bit of a mixed bag. He's got a slight combo set with the 3-iron being the brand new Ping Blueprint S forged cavity back. So this is the brand new iron that's come out. It's been in a lot of Tour Pros bag. It's got a slightly larger profile than the Blueprint T, which he uses in the rest of the set, the True Blade, but it's got a cavity on it. The 3-iron's going to have actually a little slot behind the face where they put an elastomer piece in there for, I believe, a little extra ball speed, as well as moving that CG down just a touch lower on that club. But he's playing that Blueprint S in the 3-iron. And then the 4-through pitching wedge is going to be the Ping Blueprint T. So that's going to be the true muscle back blade, a little bit more compact, really kind of sharp toe, squared off toe, a really good looking iron, little thinner sole on that, and he's going to play that 4-through pitching wedge. Now all of those clubs are shafted up with Project X 6.5 shafts. The Project X 6.5 is the old classic, the original Project X. For a lot of players, initial high launch, but very low spin. So you kind of see an immediate kind of high launch and then a really flat trajectory as it goes out. And again, for higher spin, usually higher speed players, it's again a pretty stout profile. Then you move into wedges, and the wedges for him are going to be the Ping Glide Forge Pro, and he's playing a 50, 54, and 60. The 50 and 54 are S grinds that I believe are the slightly higher bounce, slightly wider sole version, and then the 60 is the T grind. So I think 54 is going to be S, which is going to be 10 degrees of bounce, and then the 60 degree is going to be, I believe, 6 degrees of bounce in that T grind. The T grind's a little more versatile, has a little more relief on it, allows the player to kind of open the face a little bit without the leading edge coming up off the ground, and allow them to play different types of shots, higher lofted, lower lofted, around the greens. Though all three of those wedges are shafted up with True Temper Dynamic Gold Tour Issue Black Onyx X100s. So the Tour Issue version of the Dynamic Gold is just weight sorted to an extremely high tolerance. And then it has the Black Onyx finish, which is kind of a gloss black finish On the bottom, it still has that gold silkscreen tour issue logo, but it's all of gloss black finish for, that type of look, a little bit less glare. I really like the black onyx. I've had them before. I think they look really good, and especially in darker heads. But he's got more of a chrome finish on the Glide Forge Pros. Those were a really good compact wedge. They weren't really big. They had a smaller look to them, a little more rounded, and it was very popular. Forged head, so it has a little softer feel to it. And those are actually playing at, the 50 is D3 for the swing weight, D4 for the 54, and D4 for the 60. Then when you move into the putter for him, and he's using a Ping Redwood D66. Now, you haven't heard probably the Redwood name in a while. It was an older model of all milled putters from Ping, and I believe the Redwood part stood for, it was milled out of a solid block of steel, meaning they milled the hosel, the face, everything out of one piece instead of making a hosel and welding it on. I think part of the Redwood was the tall hosel came with it and milled out of one piece. Really nice, underrated milled putters. I remember when those things came out, they were kind of hot, and then you were able to kind of get them on the secondary market for a decent a price, and they were high quality putters. His is a black finish. The D66 is kind of a slightly swept up toe, small blade. It's got a small shallow cavity in it, but it doesn't have the big shoulders and big bumpers on the heel and toe like a Newport or Newport 2, or in Ping's case, Answer 2 style. And then it's got a plumber's neck on it as well with full shaft offset. Fully milled face as well, no insert on these, but a really good soft feel, very responsive for those D66s. His is 34 inches long, 3 degrees aloft, and the lie angle I'm not 100% sure of. But on that one there, he's using the grip of a Ping PP58. And for the rest of the grips, he's actually using the Golf Pride Z-Cord Align grips. So those are the Z-Cords with, on the bottom, you'll see a small kind of red line that runs. It's a slightly bit of raised rubber that's kind of a reminder set as you set the club in your hand. You can kind of feel it in the kind of pads of your fingertips. It used to be very similar to a reminder grip that used to have kind of internally a little molded rubber in the bottom of it so you could kind of feel where the face was. And Golf Pride has since kind of redesigned that into the Align version. But the Z-Cord Align is a full cord grip, one of the firmest grips that Golf Pride makes. The rubber is just extremely stiff, and then also very rough with high traction with the cord running through it. And then he was using the Titleist Pro V1. So that's the going to be the slightly more penetrating ball flight, a little softer feel from Titleist. Still got a lot of it's low long game spin, still a lot of spin in the short game. Greenside stop and drop control as they call it, but using the Pro V1. So that is Austin Eckroat's What's in the Bag from the 2024 Cognizant Classic. Congratulations to him on a big win this weekend, and we'll see you back here next week to see what's in next week's winner's bag.